and I'm not afraid to say, 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 and I'm not afraid to say,
and I'm not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, and I am your host, A.J. Woodson. Welcome, everybody. We come on 6 to 8 every Sunday on InTheMixRadio.com, giving you real talk for the community since 2014. Yes. So a couple of things before we get started. I wanted to, sometimes I learn stuff and I just got to share it. So my sister, she went and got she got, I guess, an account, I guess that's the word, on Ancestry.com. I guess her husband brought it for her for a Christmas gift. Oh, shout to him. Happy birthday to Boyd Burbick, whose birthday was this week. So I found out a few interesting things from, yes. I found out a few interesting things. So I am officially 4 generations removed from slavery. I never knew, you always have that, you never know exactly when. Now I know. So I already knew my family on my paternal side. My mother's side was from Virginia, and my family on my father's side is from North Carolina. So also found that, and I thought I knew this, but anyway, 3 generations born in New York. One thing my sister was saying, she was like, there's a lot of people that live here that are not 3 generations from New York. Either their parents are not from New York or their grandparents are not from New York. But I'm 3 generations from Lower Westchester. My family from New Rochelle and Mount Vernon. So another thing I found out, so now me and Bob had this discussion. I'm still going to say it, and I could be wrong, but from the research that I found, so slaves were not named in the census by name before 1870 or 1880. I forgot which was the next census. They were, they were 3/4 of a person. So the slave owners wanted to be able to count all the slaves they had in the census, so they can have more representation in the Congress. So, but they didn't want to count us as a person, so we were counted as 3/5 of a man. So it's a good chance if you can find your family listed in a census before 1880, they were not slaves. They were free at that time. Slavery ended 1865, and the first census after that was either 1870 or 1880. So that, I just was like, I don't know if anybody else was interested in that, but that was very interesting information to me, so I just wanted to share all that because I just heard about it an hour ago. So I wanted to shout out my family, the Roysters, the Robinsons, the Hendersons, and the Bobbitts on my paternal, my mother's side, the Woodsons, the Kents, and the Hubbards on my fraternal, my father's side. So I just wanted to, I found some of that very interesting, and I just wanted to share. And before I go any further, I also want to give a shout out to my uncle, my father's oldest brother, Reverend Eugene Woodson. A lot of people know him. He came up in Shiloh Baptist in New Rochelle, and I think he preached today at Bethesda Baptist in Port Chester. But he's been very big. He's a biblical scholar, very good Bible teacher. He just celebrated his 80th birthday. So we had a little celebration for him yesterday. It was great to see the generations of my family, my father's siblings, my cousins that were my age, and then all the kids that came from that. It was like, it's getting to a point where I had to start asking kids. I said, we're going to start putting name tags on the kids saying, my name is, and I belong to, because I didn't know who. I was like, wait, okay, who are you? And who's your parents? Because there was so many kids there. There was something that I didn't even know, that I had never seen before. But it was good to see the whole family. And shout outs to my cousins, Valerie Kent and Joffrey Gardner, Jeff, my running buddy Jeff in high school, and one of my favorite cousins, Valerie Kent. Their birthdays, and happy birthday again to my brother-in-law, Boyd Burbick. And also a shout out to Peekskill Mayor, Andre Rainey, who just celebrated his 35th birthday. Yes, the youngest mayor in the history of Peekskill. Shout out to him, and shout out to all the Sagittariuses out there, whenever your birthday may be. Also, so this will be next week. Actually, my mom, who passed, everybody know my mom passed July of 2014, which is when I came back to New York because of that, and then Black Westchester came about through that during that time. Her birthday actually is next Sunday. This will be the first year it falls on her birthday, and it's also the first year I didn't go away to my sister's house or for that week, so I will be here next week, and I probably will do some sort of tribute or some sort of short tribute or something to my mom. This was a very big time of the year for her. From my brother-in-law's birthday on, her birthday's the 23rd, my sister's birthday's the 30th, and Christmas and all that. This was a very big time to my mom, so shout out to her, and I will be talking about her a little bit next week. So without further ado, welcome to the show, and we have in the place to be, we have Dr. Robert Baskerville, PhD, sometimes PhD. Biff Baskerville. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yo, the brother, both my brother from another mother. And I always say, and it's a joke, but I always say, leave that door open if you don't want me to turn on the air. I always say it's one of the best things to come out of the Richard Thomas campaign, mayoral campaign, my friendship with Bob, because that's where it was birthed. And we became, brothers since then. And I look at him as my brother, and he's my right-hand man, and he holds us down in ways that y'all do not know, organizationally and otherwise. So shout out to Dr. Bob and the place to be. Yeah. The mic is on now. Yeah. And also in the place to be, my other brother from another mother. Yo, Rashad, Bilal. I want to just say a couple of words about my brother here, and I asked him to come to the show, especially, he's a financial advisor, he does wealth management. But beyond that, though, I'm a hip-hop head. Everybody who knows me, I'm a hip-hop head. Once you're a hip-hop head, you're a hip-hop head for life. Like, I may not rap no more, I may not tag no more. Actually, I do still tag a little bit on paper. But, you might not do all of that, but no matter how old you are, if that's in you, that's always in you. And I'm not talking about the music on the radio now. I'm talking about the essence of hip-hop. If you're a hip-hop head, you're always a hip-hop head. So when people can take knowledge that they have and break it down to the simplest form, so you know what I'm saying? The average hip-hop head, the average cat in the hood can understand it. I respect that on a whole nother level. And he's been posting a lot of posts, usually on Instagram is where I catch it. Like we're gonna talk about Nas. That was one of the reasons I really reached out to him after reading that, and I asked him to write an article on it. And just I wanted to do. A lot of people in our community do not get taught financial literacy, and a lot of people actually don't have the money to hire somebody. So I was hoping in today, going into the new year, we could actually give some tips to some people. You know what I'm saying? That don't normally get that kind of information, and you can share the knowledge. So welcome to the show, my brother. Rashad.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure. Sure.
No doubt. I didn't do the Facebook. Welcome to everybody on Facebook, because I don't know when that kicked in.
Sure.
No doubt. So far, I didn't do the Facebook. Welcome to everybody on Facebook, because I don't know when that kicked in.
Sure.
Tracy, shout out to Tracy Cates. She's tuned in. Facebook. Welcome
shout out to Tracy.
No doubt. Tracy.
So hope you're feeling better, Tracy. By the way.
That's what's up. So Bob,
shout out to Tracy.
These last couple of days, I know I've been sitting right. So
hope you're feeling better, Tracy. By the way,
will be revealed soon, hopefully. So Bob,
shout out to Tracy.
These last couple of days, I know I've been sitting right. So
hope you're feeling better, Tracy. By the way,
will be revealed soon, so Bob,
shout out to. So in addition to finishing up classes for semester, hope you're feeling better, Tracy. That's nice. You and I. So in addition to finishing up for Black Westchester semester, hope you're feeling better, Tracy. That's nice. strengthen Black Westchester. You and I personally have. So in addition to things together for Black Westchester research, hope you're feeling better. You're working on nice. Black Westchester. Just looking at patterns. So in addition to things together for Black Westchester research, hope you're feeling better. Total records. So Black Westchester. Just looking at patterns. So in addition to things together for Black Westchester. Those on our broader team records. So who are planning around. Looking at patterns. So in addition to things election, will possibly have our broader team records. So who are planning around. Looking at patterns. So in addition to things election. Will possibly have our broader team records. So planning around looking at patterns, real reasons why candidates will possibly have our broader team. Planning around looking at patterns, real reasons a lot of candidates will possibly have our broader team. Planning around looking at patterns, real reasons a lot of candidates will possibly have our broader team. Planning across looking at patterns, real reason a lot of will possibly have our broader team. Right. Planning across looking at patterns, real reason a lot of will possibly have our broader team. Right. Planning across looking at patterns, real reason a lot of I mean, one thing I'm going to say, I tried to say this repeatedly. Right. If you actually look at entities that are one thing I'm going to say, I tried to say national entity that is part of the broader national. If you actually look at coalition entities that are one thing I'm going to say, I tried to say national entity that is part of the broader national political. Actually look at coalition entities that are one thing I'm going to say, I tried to say national entity that is voters that are trying to focus on what the candidates political. Actually look at a whole group of entities, think tanks. One thing I'm going to say, I tried to say voters that are trying to focus on what the candidates political. I believe that's what we're kind of converging towards. Think tanks. One thing I'm going to say, I tried to say voters that are trying to focus on political. I believe that's what we're kind of converging towards. Think tanks. I anticipate that. A lot of work, but I'm hoping that in the next new year, I believe that's what we're kind of converging towards. Labor. I anticipate that. A lot of work, but I'm hoping that in the next new year, I believe that's what we're kind of converging towards. Labor. I anticipate that. A lot of work, but I'm hoping that
your house. If you're listening to whatever you have it, do you just turn that down? I don't know if you're listening to it on a speaker or a computer or something. But let me know if it. Let me know.
I'm sorry,
Tracy said the same thing. So let me know if that's any better. I just did something. I don't know if that helps, but other than that, I have no idea why it's echoing or repeating. Go ahead, Bob. I didn't want to.
Yeah, so I'm sorry.
I can see we just ran up in here just at the last minute. We
trying
to get our snacks on and everything real quick. I
don't even think I had anything to eat today. Really.
Right. I usually try to take care of that before I get here, but
I might have some coffee. I don't remember what else. But in any case, so that's what I've been working on at home. It's a very labor-intensive project, but I'm happy to say that it's been very rewarding in making some concrete steps forward, and so I anticipate that in the next year, that will be one contribution that I, in particular, will be taking the lead on as part of our broader coalitional activities.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, Brother Rashad, it's been a while since you've been here. What have you been up to?
Yo, hold on. We need to play, when you say that, get money. Where's the little come?
Right.
Get money.
Boo,
boo, boo, boo, boo.
Nah, I've been good, man. How you guys been?
We been good.
Just grinding like usual.
Like we trying to make it, brother.
For sure. Nah, I've been good. Just working on a lot of different things. As you said, been active on social media, on Instagram. I'm gonna start to get on Facebook more.
Right. I've seen you.
That's what I'm like. Yeah. I gotta get more active on Facebook. But just working on a couple of different things. I'm actually working on a financial literacy curriculum that I want to formalize, because, as you said, I teach financial literacy in the school. It's like a 6-week program that I do during the summertime. But now I want to actually make a more formal program that like any school can really implement.
Okay.
If they decide to. So that's something that has been taking up a lot of my time. And yeah, just trying to spread the word of economics.
Now, where do you teach at? What do you teach?
Woodlands High School.
Oh, Woodlands. Okay.
Yeah,
That's here in Yonkers?
No, that's
in Greenberg.
Oh, Greenberg.
That's
forgive me.
yeah, Damon's alma mater.
Yeah, Damon went there.
And the Lewis brothers, Atlantic Stars alma mater. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from the Ville. I ain't need to go up there. You know what I mean?
I used to mess with Greenberg girls when I used to bowl in White Plains Post. It's not there no more. Post bowl. My parents, the adults were in a league, and we were like in a junior league. And everybody in my family like literally takes bowling very, very serious. Like my cousin just bowled the 290.
Oh yeah.
After a knee operation, like
That's like I don't even know anything about bowling.
Bowling
That's
is like a 300 is the highest you
Okay,
can ever get.
okay,
Like that's
okay.
if you knock every strike
every single time.
But for me, it was like a recreational thing. Like I got out of Mount Vernon on Saturday. I was down in the game room. I was meeting the girls from Greenberg. I was dipping away. You know what I'm saying? And coming back. It was never really. I'm the only one in my family that never. Like literally in my family, when you can walk, they put a bowling ball in your hand. They're rolling it down. Like we got some serious bowlers in my family.
That's what's up.
But that was my first introduction to like Greenberg. Like in high school, like you know. And then we start going out there for some parties and stuff. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, just trying to stay active. That's what I've been up to.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. But I meant what I said, man, because it's one thing to have the knowledge and that's what you do for a living. So you know, and not that you give it all away, but you give nice jewels away for free.
Yeah,
and you spread the knowledge and like that. When you give like that, that's when you bless. Like you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
I think that's one of the mistakes that a lot of because everybody's using social media for business now.
Right.
And it's great. It's a great marketing tool, but I think a lot of the mistakes that people make is that they just push their product or their business.
Right.
That's all they push.
Right.
People aren't interested in that. Like they want to. You got to add value.
Right.
And then business will come organically.
Right.
It's like you know if you have food, you might give out free samples.
Right.
And then they taste it, and then they'll come to your restaurant.
Right.
So it's the
I
same.
mean, even in the hood, I mean,
Exactly.
using the drug game.
Yeah, I was gonna give a different example. Yeah, exactly.
You give free samples, and when they come back, they got to pay.
Ex-
Like, I mean, just I know that's something everybody can relate to. Like,
exactly. So
In the abstract, of course.
Yeah.
It wasn't, that wasn't part of our marketing program. We wasn't with that.
but yeah, no, I think you do good. It comes back to you, and the more knowledge that you give out there for free, people start to value your opinion, and business comes. But for me, I have fun. Like I never really knew how fun teaching was until I actually started teaching kids.
Talking to kids and seeing seeds plant in their head is one of the most exciting things in the world. I mean, even when I was on the music side, I was teaching people that wanted to get into the music business, wanted to start a label, wanted to get into promotions or productions, what those things were. You know what I'm saying? And now we're talking to WCC about maybe me doing something as far as what we do, teaching, maybe out of the Mount Vernon extension or something. We're working out the details and all that, So,
that's dope. That's dope.
I just enjoy speaking. Like we used to have the program Boys to Men, me, Damon, and a few other guys at Cecil Parker, elementary.
Right.
They had to come that day in their little suit and their little shirt and tie. We had brought professional men from throughout the county, not all black. We brought the human rights, Mark Fang. The county legislators came. Andre Wallace, the councilman, came. Various other professional men, so they could see something outside of, themselves.
Their
you know what I'm saying?
usual,
What
yeah.
they usually, and then they did the most amazing thing. And I get back. We had the thing where we met with the council. They did the Andre Wallace setup, and they actually got to sit in the council seats. And George Brown, the clerk, say he explained how things work. So say they was going to vote on more milk at school, just something fictitious. So he would tell each one, do you agree? And then that person how they would vote, and then the clerk how they would write everything down. And then when they came downstairs, all of the city hall employees was clapping for them like they were the championship basketball team.
That's great.
Like that was the most
that's
amazing thing in the world for some young kid. They ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they got to sit with the mayor and sit with the controller and sit, they got to see things outside. And then we've taken them other places and stuff like that. And it's a beautiful thing when you
that's
plant
great.
them seeds in kids.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Exposure is really the most important thing, I think. Like that's what really got me into finance. I took a trip to Wall Street when I was like in 5th grade, 6th grade.
Wow.
And I just fell in love with it. Stocks, investing, all of that stuff ever since. So It's important. You know, you got to expose kids. A lot of times, unfortunately, we're not exposed to things, so we don't even know, like, what politics are.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be 53 in a couple of weeks, and I've learned more about finances from your visits on the show than I do most of my life. Yo, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not taught in school,
right?
And unfortunately, it's not really talked about in our households. A lot of times, it's kind of a taboo topic, or our parents don't know. So it's just kind of.
I found out what credit was. I didn't have it. That's how I found out what it was.
Yeah, learn the hard way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And you got people taking out things in their kids' names and stuff. They messing up their credit before they even are grown ups. Like,
It's unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah. But that's why I appreciate what you do, because it's like, you know, and then like I said, it will bring business to you. But and that's the thing about Black Westchester. The thing that was important. Like, we could sell it for 50 cents or $1 and make money. You know what I'm saying? But we do the copies we do, and we try to distribute it freely and make sure it gets to the community, so that information gets to the community that they're not getting normally, gets to the community for free. You know, because if you was to charge 50 cents or $1, the people who need the information would not get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like it's now, you know, you're doing business, so it's a chore because you got to make money to continue to do it, but you got to find some way to give it to the people for free and distribute it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's why I respect. Now, the specific thing I wanted to talk about first, and I asked you to write the article, was Nas. Like, that what you wrote impacted me, especially I'm a hip-hop head, and how you broke it down and what he did with the investment. If you can just spend a little time and talk about that. I know you're going to write about it. If you could just share that.
Yeah, so I had a post about Nas saying that 2018 was a great year for him as far as investments are concerned. So, long story short, him and his business manager, they started a venture capital firm a couple of years ago. So for anybody that's not familiar with venture capitals, what venture capitalists do is that they invest money in startup companies. So you might have an idea as a startup company, and you have an idea, but you don't have enough money to actually make your idea materialize.
Right.
So you'll go to somebody or a firm that has money, and they'll give you seed money. They'll give you money to help fund your idea. In return for them giving you money, they're taking equity in the company. So they'll take, it's like Shark Tank, right?
Right, Shark Tank, right.
Exactly like Shark Tank. So you go on, they might take 10%, 20% of your company, whatever. So it's a win-win for everybody, because you need the money and they have the money. They're going to finance you, but they're taking risks because they're giving you money.
Right.
So in return, they want part ownership.
Right.
Right? So that's what venture capital firms do. So he started a venture capital firm called Queensbridge Venture Partners. I think that's what the name of it is. And a couple of years ago, they just started putting money in a lot of different companies. So this year, a couple of the companies hit big. So the thing about venture capitalists is that you might invest in 100 companies, right? And out of those 100 companies, 90% probably will fail. They'll never make it to be successful at all. But if 10% actually blow up, then the 90% failures, the 10% will make up for it. Right. So that's why they spread their money out with a lot of different companies, a lot of different ideas. So one of the companies that he put money in early was a company called Ring. It's a doorbell alarm company.
You see the commercial all the time.
Yeah. So Amazon brought Ring in February for $1 billion. So that he made $40 million off of that deal. And then another company that he put money into was a company called PillPack. So PillPack is a online pharmaceutical company, and Amazon brought them for $1 billion again in June. So Amazon brought two of his companies that he invested in for $1 billion each. So, and then he was invested in another company called Walker & Company, and this company was actually started by a brother, and they had a product called the Bevel Blade razors, clippers, and Nas was actually like the spokesperson for the clippers, and he was an early investor, and they got brought by Procter & Gamble last week. Wow. So he had 3 companies that got acquired by huge companies this year. And he's also an investor. He was also an early investor in Lyft. And Lyft is about to hit the stock market next year. So he'll probably make a lot more money on Lyft as well. So, yeah, I mean, you know, he probably made upwards of $100 million this year from those 3 companies. So, you know, we know him. It's a good lesson, too, because we know him from music. But just this year, I don't know this for sure, but I would probably say
more
this year than his whole rap career.
His whole rap career.
Exactly.
You know.
So that just goes to show that, you know.
Because he didn't own his masters or nothing, so he wasn't, you know.
Exactly. He probably made more money off this year off the investments than he did his whole music career. So it's important for athletes, entertainers, really anybody, but especially people that get large amounts of money for short periods of time. His career has been a long career. That's not normal. But usually a rapper, your career might be 3 years or 5 years if you're lucky, right? You might get a lot of money.
You might just have one album and that's
exactly,
it.
But then it's over. So now you got to make smart decisions with your money. So it's good to see, you know, a veteran like that, you know, getting involved in the tech space, getting involved in investing. And, you know, I just thought it was just a really cool. And then it all came full circle because, so Amazon brought the companies from him, right? And obviously he's from Queens. He's from Queensbridge Projects, which is the largest projects in North America.
98 buildings.
Yeah. So Queensbridge is in Long Island City, Queens, right? So Amazon is moving their headquarters, their global headquarters, like literally like a few blocks away from Queensbridge. They're moving to Long Island City. So it's kind of a controversial move. A lot of people, they're saying it's going to bring 50,000 new jobs into the city. It's going to, you know, bring billions of dollars in revenue, things of that nature. And then, you know, proponents are saying that, you know, gentrification will come. The area's already gentrified, but they're saying gentrification will come and stuff like that. So we'll see the effects of it. But it was just interesting that they ended up buying those companies, and then they, you know, they moved their headquarters, you know, a couple blocks. So I just thought that was like, you know, pretty ironic that happened.
So two things. One, I want to that's why I give LeBron James props. When he was asked to be an endorser for Dre by Beats, for some reason, I don't know who told him, but he said he wanted a piece of the company. 2%, 5%, whatever it was. When Beats sold, he made, I think, $32 million. When Beats sold.
And
you know what I'm saying?
This is the thing that, this is a good thing because a lot of athletes and entertainers now are becoming smarter. Right? Because there was a brother years ago that Nike offered him 10% equity or $100,000. This is when Nike first started. He took the $100,000.
Imagine if he took the 10%.
That's $50 billion, something crazy amount of money, right? So the same story with Ron Artest. So people will remember, I don't know if you remember the 50 cent vitamin water deal.
Yes.
So the guys that started vitamin water, they're from Queens. So once again, Ron Artest, he's from Queensbridge also. So they went to they gave this Ron Artest the same offer that they gave 50 Cent, equity. Ron Artest wanted $150,000 in cash. They didn't have money. That's why people will offer you equity if they don't have enough money to pay you. They said, look, we can't pay you, but we'll give you a part of the company. He turned it down. So long story short, 50 Cent took the equity. When Coca-Cola brought him, he made $80, $90 million.
Absolutely.
So you turned down $100,000 for $80 million.
Right.
So, but now people are getting smarter. Even if you listen to Beyonce, she has a song with Jay-Z, and she said, pay me in equity.
Right.
So, you know, now we're starting to understand that, okay, if they're willing to pay me $5 million to endorse the product, what's my real worth, right? Like, I can negotiate a deal where I can get 5% of the company.
Imagine if Jordan got a percentage of
exactly.
Nike. I mean, that year when he blew the Knicks out and in the playoffs and everything, they were made, you know, this big thing. Oh, he made $50 million from Nike. Yeah, but Nike made like $500 million off of him. And what people don't remember, I don't know why people don't remember, there was no such thing as Nike Air before Air Jordan.
The crazy thing,
you know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't a Nike Air. Like they got a whole line of sneakers now.
The interesting thing about that is that so I read Phil Knight's book. Phil Knight is CEO of Nike. He's the one that started Nike, right? And pretty much in his book, at the end, he names like everybody that he is the reason why Nike is what it's Nike.
Right.
So Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Bo Jackson, Tiger Woods, everybody he named was a black athlete. And it's like they built that company
on their back.
Right? So it's like you said, if they would have took equity or if they would have started their own company. That's why I respect.
That's what LeBron's talking about now. He said, we're not going to just push your products no more. We want to be your partner. That's that was something he said recently. I think you posted it.
Yeah, about the Blaze Pizza.
Yeah.
So, you know, and all of these companies were built like that. Really, if you think about it, Adidas, they got hot off of Run DMC.
Right.
Like, you know,
hot in the hood, especially, yeah.
Exactly, and that took them to a whole new level.
Right.
So it's nothing new for companies to market to the urban market and to get hot with the urban market, even the champagne. Like, remember Cristal.
Right.
Cristal was a champagne brand for years, and nobody really was drinking it.
And then Jay-Z started talking about
it. And then the ironic thing is, once the rappers started to get it hot and they blew up like 500%, then the CEO came and said, we don't want to be associated with hip-hop. Those aren't the kind of people we want to be associated with. So they got hot off of rappers and then tried to distance themselves like, nah, that's not the image that we want.
Right.
So you have to, and that even Jay-Z, he said, you know, he made him a lot of mistakes endorsing companies that didn't care about the culture.
Right.
So now he'll do his own thing now, but it took him a while because it was like, okay, we talk about Gucci and Prada, and these companies don't care. Like they'll make money off of you saying it's free advertisement, but like I said, now I think that it's starting to turn and we're becoming more educated, financially educated.
Right. It's not just talking about Tommy Hilfiger and he giving you clothes.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean,
exactly.
like Puma got like ridiculous clothes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think eventually he got some money out the deal too, but because he stepped in them like no.
Grand Puma, Wu-Tang, like they made Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah.
Grand Puma, he should have a lifetime position at Tommy Hilfiger. He blew them up.
Well, he's the reason that a lot of us wore anytime Puma, because you wanted to be that swagger. You wanted to rock like Puma, like real talk.
It's crazy because Supreme, Supreme,
yes,
the clothing brand. So Supreme, they just got brought for like $1 billion last year.
Oh wow!
So Supreme was a skateboarding brand for years before anybody knew who they was. The Diplomats, Jim Jones and Santana, at the peak of their career, like early 2000s, the guys from Supreme wanted to do a photo shoot with them. So they reached out to them. They offered them $10,000 a piece to put the T-shirts on. They did the photo shoot. It took like 10 minutes. They gave them $10,000 a piece. That one photo shoot sent Supreme into a whole. Once they put those shirts on, overnight, and then they haven't looked back since. And now they got sold for $1 billion. So I just use that as an example. Everybody uses hip-hop culture, black culture,
and athletes
exactly to propel their products. So that's saying something that we're valuable. So we have to capitalize on that ourselves, as opposed to letting somebody else give you pennies on a dollar, and they're gonna reap in the rewards of everything once they know it's time to cash out.
Right. No, that's dope, yo. And coming full circle. So, Nas is like one of your favorite rappers, right? Like
Nas my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
Nas my favorite rapper. I named my son Nasir.
That's
Nas my favorite rapper of all time. So that was just, even dope for me to even write that story. Hopefully, he could see it.
Yeah.
And that'd be dope too.
Well, we're gonna post it. I'm gonna tag it to him on Instagram and on Twitter, and I'm gonna send it to him. Like whether he read it or not, I'm gonna tag. I always do that. If somebody's mentioned, I tag him.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Then hopefully, they'll retweet it, and everybody will come to the site.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's just good. Like I said, I mean, it's not just him though. But LeBron, I love LeBron. Just basketball-wise, he's my favorite player. But just the stuff that he's doing off the court is tremendous. I mean,
I give him a lot of credit, and I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt you. For someone who came straight out of school, he didn't really go to no college or nothing. He actually had a contract before he graduated, 6 days before graduating high school, before he even got picked on a team, before he even dribbled a basketball on a pro court. And that's enough if you've seen the history of our athletes, because you're taking someone from the hood who's had no money, their family has had no money.
Right.
That's a certain mind state.
right.
And then that's Mike Tyson. And then you're making him worth, in his heyday at one point, he had made $500 million and just hit his share of from the bouts, which was unheard of at the time.
No.
But no one taught, your mind has to be taught, now you have to be taught how to live in that world, because all you know is the little knucklehead from Brooklyn role. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and they don't there's never been any transition or training or whatever word you want to use, because you can't just go from the hood to now you famous and everybody knows your name.
Yeah, nah, it's
what I'm saying, and the cameras are following you everywhere, and then you wonder why they don't act a certain way. Like they don't, nobody's taught them. Like nobody.
Yeah.
You just use them, and then when they mess up, you go on to another person. Like,
nah, LeBron's special, man. 'Cause like you said, I mean,
no incidents,
yeah,
no arrests,
he's special.
no baby mama drama, kids out like
nah, for real,
all
for
the
real.
things athletes go through.
For sure.
he's somehow been above, and he keeps the core of his high school buddies or whatever.
Well, that's the most impressive part about it is that
Usually that usually gets you in trouble.
Right.
That's what got Allen Iverson in trouble. That's what got Mike Vick in trouble. That's what got a lot of people in trouble.
It's two ways you can do it. You can just have the friends that you grew up with and just have them as clinging on,
right,
and feed them,
right,
or you can empower them.
Like the TV show Entourage. That's what,
exactly.
That's what Entourage is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So LeBron empowered them,
right,
and now they're successful on their own.
Right.
Like Rich Paul, his friend Rich Paul, he's one of the top agents in the NBA now. Maverick Carter is one of the top deal. He does everything in Hollywood right now. So it's like he's put these people in positions, and now they're good without LeBron.
Right.
And that, that to me, that's just dope. So like you said, I mean, just his family life, and especially coming from where he comes from, like a single parent home.
Right.
And it was like statistically, he's not supposed to even be where he is as far as his growth and his development.
Right.
So to see him do that with very little, because people have a lot of resources and can't figure it out.
Right.
He figured it out with not a lot of resources at all at a young age, with money thrown at him and temptation and all that.
And he was expected to be the face of the team in the league as coming in from high school. Like he was the face of the face. The team. He was the leader of the team when he first got there. Like he was. Yeah. That's a lot of pressure on a kid that just came out of high school, and now you're expected to lead a pro. You know.
And that's why, I mean, like I said, to me, he's the greatest. Everybody has their opinion,
and that's what. Yeah.
Michael Jordan, of course, you can never disrespect Michael Jordan for what he did on the court, but LeBron is bigger than basketball. You know, some things are just bigger than sports. So.
And then he had the nerve to risk it all on these moments of activism, like by saying certain things.
Yeah, speaking out, exactly. Speaking, and even him opening the school.
That was the greatest thing.
Yeah, like like you opened the school, like that's.
We did a story on that. Like
that's incredible. So.
And he didn't just open it; like he got with the. Because I did a thorough story on that. He got with the Board of Education. He got them to develop the proper curriculum. It's just not like he put his name on a school. He just made some school in the hood. Like it's an official school. Like what I'm saying. And it's I was impressed by that. So I've been impressed a lot by his movement and everything they've said about him. Oh, he can't do this. Well, he's not a closer. Or that summer he worked on it. Now he is. Oh, he never got an outside shot. That summer he worked on. Now he is. Like everything we've said about him. Like, and he learned from Jordan. He learned how that situation went. And now he elevated because of the Jordans and Magics and Birds and all of them before him.
Right.
He was smart enough. I don't know if they sat down with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, but he was old. He obviously was listening to someone. He actually got good advice from someone. He was able to learn and be teachable. Which is important. So
for sure. So LeBron actually not to switch topics, but since we're on a politics show, I did a write up. You heard about the executive order that Trump signed for opportunity zones?
Yes, go speak on that a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So the president on Monday, he signed I don't know if it's a bill or executive order. I think it was an executive order, but he signed an executive order on Monday where so the new tax law that was passed last year, a portion of the money of tax revenue is gonna go for funding for what they call opportunity zones. So pretty much it's supposed to be low-income neighborhoods.
Like it's supposed to be like an empowerment zone.
Low-income neighborhoods that they're gonna put money. The government's gonna put money into for development, for real estate development, for businesses, things of that nature. So it's money coming to the hood, pretty much.
But he has vested interest in all of those areas, though.
Well, yeah. So now they're saying that it's always a catch, I guess. So now they're saying that his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and him and another partner, they have properties in 2 of the opportunity zones, and then when they announced another opportunity zone, after they announced it, I guess Jared Kushner brought $13 million worth of property in that opportunity zone. So what they're saying, what the critics are saying, is that it's a way to give money to developers. It's going to lead to a lot more gentrification. It's going, he's going to benefit from it. Him and his family's going to benefit from it because they have properties.
In the position, the president is not supposed to do things that
benefit him. Yeah, benefit him directly. Yeah, but we also never had a businessman that came in as a president before, really. So obviously he's untraditional everything he does. So this shouldn't be a surprise. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting because obviously that ties into both. That's a political play and it's an economic play also. So I don't know. We'll see the effects of it, but I encourage everyone to, at the very least, just research it and see if if you could benefit from it. If you could, because there are different tax benefits that you're going to get for buying properties in the opportunity zones as long as you hold them for a certain period of time, and even for businesses. So I don't even know the full details of it yet. I'm still learning it, but it's interesting. I think as far as on a political scale, and also for a lot of communities of color that money will be put into.
Now, when I mentioned that you were going to be on the show and that we were going to be dealing with financial literacy, a couple of people asked me, they need that knowledge, one, and they was like, what can they do as someone who does not have a lot of money to start getting things in order and start making those kind of moves? What advice would you have for someone who wants to do right, get it right, but they ain't really got no money like that? Yeah,
so it really comes down to a few different things. It's not, unfortunately, it's not like a magic wand that somebody can just become a millionaire overnight. But really, if you're struggling paycheck to paycheck, which a lot of people are, you don't have enough money at the end of the month, you can do a couple of things. You can either try to cut back on your expenses. So the first way to do that, the first thing you have to do is be organized and put together a budget, right? Most people don't have a budget. So what that means is that you look to see how much money is actually, you have to treat your life like a business. Like if you have a business, if you go to IBM or Microsoft and you ask them how much money are you guys spending every month, there's no way they're going to tell you we don't know. Right. They can itemize every single line and say this is how much is going out for marketing, this is how much is going out to computers, whatever. So
this is how much it came in, this is how much it went out.
Exactly. So you have to do the same thing with your life. So you have to sit down and put together a budget of how much money you're actually spending, how much money is coming in. And you can do that by, if you keep receipts for like a month, or if you look at your credit card statement, because a lot of times we spend money on things and we don't even realize how much money we're spending. So like even just eating out or, going to lunch, you can cut back on that. Just pack your own lunch, things of that nature. So the first thing is to actually see where the money is going, how much money you're spending. And then the second step is to actually put together a budget to say, okay, this is how much money I want to spend. I want to cut back on these areas, things of that nature. So if you don't have enough money, you can cut back on your expenses, right? Or you can find ways to make more money. You can get a second job. You can start a business. You can start a side hustle. Best possible case scenario, you do both, where you cut back on your expenses and you make more money. Now, what that does is that raises what you call your disposable income. Now you have more money left over at the end of the month. Now, from there, you can begin to save. You can begin to invest. But before you do any of this, pay down debt. But before you do any of that, you have to, so that's really what it comes down to, right? You either cut back on your expenses or you make more money, or you cut back on your expenses and you make more money. And then after you do that, now you have to start making smart decisions with your money, right? Like you have to start saving, you have to start investing. It's always a good idea to pay down debt if you can. Save money into your job's 401k plan, because that's tax deductible. So the money that you save in the 401k is going to lower your taxable income. So it's a few different ways that you can go about it from there, but really it starts with just becoming organized. Really, that's like the number one key to anything in life, but definitely when it comes to finances.
Now, my mother used to say certain things like, this is later in life, and I hear her talk to other people. When you get a car note, making an extra payment or something, and get paying that car off before and cutting down the interest or something like that, like stuff like that.
It's the same thing with a mortgage. Like if you make one extra mortgage payment a year, then I think if you have a 30-year mortgage, it might cut it to like 10 years, something like that, where it lowers the amount of time that you're actually paying. So, yeah, that's a strategy that you can use if you wanted to pay the car off faster. You're not actually cutting the interest rate. You're just paying it off in a shorter period of time. So that may or may not be.
Well, maybe that eliminates a bill or something.
Later on.
Yeah,
later on. Yeah. So, yeah.
Especially with your house. I mean,
the house, for sure, because you pay your house off quicker.
Right.
So then, you can sell it later and you build up more equity, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a good strategy for a house if you.
And then you have equity if you want to pull something out of it to use for anything.
Exactly. You could buy a new home or another investment property or whatever. You can borrow from your equity. So yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. So okay, so people that got a few dollars now, I ain't got a lot, but I just, I know a lot of times at the end of the year people have those things that they get the extra, bonuses and stuff, and then sometimes they're big or whatever, and we usually, go buy a new car and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And what can you do? Oh, Bob,
you continue. I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
I have something to ask.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what can you do now, because we're coming to that time of the year when people will get those kind of bonuses? I know my father worked for General Motors, and there used to be something in January. I think they used to call changeover, and he used to always get this lump sum of money like in mid-January or something.
Okay.
I know because my birthday was February, and then it was like Christmas. So we had Christmas, but it was like that's when I got some money for to do what I wanted to do with every year. I just knew that. So
it's funny. A lot of times people get most bonuses come at the end of the year. Right. So it comes at the end of the year, but what also comes at the end of the year? Christmas, holiday season. So it's like you get the bonus, then you spend it.
Right.
So it's almost like they're giving you money to give it back, really. So it's important whenever you have a lump sum of money, whether it be a bonus, whether it be a tax refund, an inheritance, anything, to make a smart decision with it, because really you can spend money on items, right? But that's depreciation. So meaning that if you buy clothes, you buy sneakers, if you buy even a car, the value is going to go down over the course of time. You're not going to make money off of it. Or you can buy appreciation assets where the money goes up. So you put money into the stock market over the course of time, not right away. It's volatile. It can go up or it can go down. But over the course of time, it will probably go up. If you put money into a college savings plan for your child, it will go up over the course of time. If you put money into a mutual fund, it will go up over the course of time. So a lot of times what keeps people from investing.
What about savings bonds? I know that's something that my mother's generation used to do.
Yeah.
Giving the kids savings bonds.
With the Fed offering.
Yeah, the interest rates are so low right now that they're not really.
Because it made sense when I was.
Yeah, you'd have to have a higher interest rate.
Exactly. It's like CDs and saving bonds. So in the 80s, interest rates were very high.
Yes. So
it was good to invest in interest-bearing accounts like CDs and bonds. But now interest rates are very low. So it's a good idea so it's a good time to buy a home, or if you can get a loan from the bank, when you can borrow money. You want to borrow money in low interest rates environments. You don't want to invest money in interest-bearing accounts when the interest rates are low. But when because the interest rates, they fluctuate. So if they go back up high again, then buying homes might not be that attractive anymore. Because if you have a 10% interest on your mortgage, that's a lot. Right now it's like 4.5%. So that's a big difference. So at that point in time, it might make sense to put money into a CD or a savings bond because you'll be earning a lot more. But yeah, so any type of investment, because a lot of times what keeps people from investing is that they feel like they don't have enough money, or it's not a good time. I want to do this, I want to do that. So that's like a good scenario where a lot of times people don't usually get lump sums, but they might get a bonus, they might get a tax refund. So that's one of the few times where if you have a lump sum, you have to make a smart decision with it. So if you have children, you might want to look at college savings funds for them. If you want just to invest in yourself and your future and you don't have a retirement plan at your job, you want to do an IRA. So an IRA, you can put up to $6,000 in, and the money lowers your taxable income. So that's another, it's like a 401k, but an IRA, what it stands for is individual retirement account. Or you might want to put money in the stock market in a mutual fund for yourself, and that money can grow for you down the line. So yeah, you just want to avoid, and I know it's tempting because, we want to go on vacations.
Those things that we wanted.
Yeah, you want to get gifts for your kids, go on vacations, and that's cool, but everything in moderation. You have to be balanced, I think.
Well, Bob, go ahead with your question.
Yeah. I wanted to ask a couple of questions in keeping in line with the shift from big investors and big corporations to the man, woman on the street who may have ambitions to start their own business. Firstly, I want Rashad, is it in your
Go ahead.
In your judgment, I think one of the initial choices that aspiring businessmen and businesswomen who with limited resources have to make is whether or not they should operate as a sole proprietorship or whether they should start some sort of formal corporation. And I know that in some of the discussions that I'm having with friends, this is a question that's raised, especially because starting a corporation, it costs you a little bit of money.
Yeah.
I wanted to know if you had any thoughts about
different.
Why you would opt for one over the other.
Yeah, good question. So there's different ways when you can formulate a business: C corp, S corp, LLC. LLC is usually the easiest, and it's usually the cheapest. It's not complicated to set up at all.
Right.
It probably costs you a couple hundred. So it's two ways how you can set up a company, right? You can do it yourself.
Right.
You can just go to Google, and there's a bunch of different websites, LegalZoom, a bunch of stuff where you can just go online. They follow steps, and you can do it yourself, or you can have an attorney do it for you. So the attorneys obviously is going to be a higher charge, but it still won't be a tremendous amount. The attorneys might charge like $500, something like that. If you go online, do it yourself, it might be $200, something like that. But the LLC is the easiest because it's passed. So the good thing so I'll back up a little bit.
Right.
The reason why it's important to start a company or a corporation outside of just your name is that for a lot of different reasons. For legal purposes. So if I just have a company and I'm making brownies and everything is under me and I rent a kitchen from somebody to make my brownies and then I start a fire, now they can sue me personally.
Right.
Right? And there's no protection there.
Right.
But if I have a company set up, now they can sue the company, right? But I'm separated from the company. So that adds a certain level of protection, which is very important in business because you can get sued at any given moment. For anything. Yeah. Really. So that's important. And then also from a tax structure as well, because so when you have a company, or LLC, S corp, the company files taxes and you file your own personal taxes. Now with the LLC, you can take the profit and losses on your personal tax return without getting too complicated. It's like a pass-through. So that's why it's easier because even though the company files taxes, it still passes through to your own personal tax return.
Right.
So that can either be, if it's positive, then it's good because it's more extra income. But if the company loses money, then if the company actually loses money, that could be good, a benefit as well too. Because it's exactly. And that's another thing too with businesses. I'm glad you said that. Write-offs. So the average person, you work a regular 9-to-5 job, you're limited to what you can write off, right? You have certain deductions. You might have a child deduction, stuff like that. With a business owner, you literally can almost write off anything.
Right.
As long as it makes sense and as long as it's, you get audited by the IRS, you got it. But the car that you drive, if you buy furniture for your office, that's deductible. You take clients to lunch. If you travel, gas for your car. So all of that stuff adds up. So the tax laws are put in place. They're a lot more favorable to entrepreneurs, to business owners, than they are to regular people. So just that alone might be worth setting up a business. If you're going to plan to do something as opposed to just trying to do it yourself outside of a business, you might as well just set up a business. So at the very least, you can take the tax deductions that are in place. So as far as what type of entity to set up, that really just depends on, what your ultimate goals are.
Right.
Because the LLC is the easiest, but like with the S corp, you get a little bit more. You get more tax breaks with the S corp, but it's more involved. Like you have to have a board of directors. You have to pay yourself in payroll every 2 weeks, and it's a lot more paperwork and it's a lot more involved. The LLC is just a lot more easier, in my opinion. So, long story short, I would suggest if somebody is just starting out a business from scratch, the LLC usually is the best way to go. And then from there, you can always change it.
Like when we started.
Yeah, and then you can always change it. As it gets more involved and you might bring people in, then you can, change it, or you can just set up another entity. That's the good thing, too. You can set up as many businesses as you want. And you want to have separate for different. So if I'm starting, like right now, I have an LLC for my financial planning business, right?
Right.
But so I'm also in the process of doing the financial literacy. So I'm going to set up an LLC for that, too. I don't want to combine them.
Right.
They're two different entities.
Right.
So I would suggest people do that as well. Don't have everything under one business. Like a lot of times we get ideas like we might want to do radio, but then we want to do fashion. Keep that separate. Right? You don't want to commingle that. So yeah, but it's not a hurdle that should stop people from getting into business, because it's just like investing. A lot of times people feel like stuff is over their head and too complicated, and when people don't feel comfortable doing something, then they just don't do it. But it's really not that complicated. It's It's not rocket science. You can do it, and it doesn't cost that much. That's, it's not something that is going to completely blow a hole in your budget at all. So I encourage people, and then it's trial and error, like all things. Like you start a business, you're going to be learning as you go. You're not going to have everything down packed. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect right now. Just do it, and then just kind of figure it out as you go.
I like that. I want to reiterate what Rashad just said. Just do it and go.
Just do it.
Because you're not going to achieve that goal if you don't take the leap of faith first and start it, because we're never ready.
Exactly.
This is the point, is we're never going to be ready. We're never going to be certain. We just need to take the risk, and hopefully the momentum is going to force us to keep on making that step.
But that stops a lot of people, because it's like, okay, I want to wait until this happens. I want to wait. It's like you'll be waiting forever if you keep trying to have it perfect.
It's like people when they want to wait for the right time to get married, or then they get married, they're like, well, we're going to wait till the right time to have kids.
A family, exactly.
There's never the right time. Like, it never comes. Like, there's never a perfect time.
You got to plan and do it.
When we kind of stepped out on a leap of faith. Damon had an idea. He brought it to me. I'm sitting there taking care of my mom. I created it. And we just started doing it. And
that's how you gotta do it.
And kind of made up the rules as we went along.
As you go.
I am not lying. Like, we had very few things. There was the county press. So, as far as they distribute to all the churches and stuff, following that. You know what I'm saying? We had the Mount Vernon Inquirer, pretty much same size paper. So I was able to take some of the ideas and their, advertising the sizes of the ads and stuff like that, and take that as a model and then, tailor it to us. We had the Westchester Guardian, who was more of the active, they more speak truth to power type paper than the rest of them. But despite all that, being a black newspaper, especially in Westchester County, like, there was, and covering what we cover, there was no roadmap to follow. There was no blueprint to follow. Like, we literally, there've been some F-ups. There's been some mistakes.
But that's good, though, too, because you get to be organic. Like, you're not following anybody, right? So it's like, because a lot of times, if it's already a blueprint set, that could be a bad thing.
Right, because you're trying to because people tell you, do it like they did it and learn how they did it. Now, what I did is I took little things like, I respected a certain person in business, and I saw some of the things they did, and I saw where I could apply one or two of those things to what we're doing. And I saw another kind of a paper. I saw some of the ideas that they had, and I took some. So it was like, I would tell everybody, I'm a hip-hop head. I'm proud. The one thing we do is we sample everything and turn it into a new product. And basically, that's what I do. Everything that I do. Like, this format of doing in the radio, this is not new. We just got our own, we just put on, we did the Diddy thing, put our own remix to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we did, but we made it up as we, and it's still, like, I don't have all the answers, and, you're never going to make everybody happy. You're never going to do what everybody wants you to do. And actually, that's why I like what Ali said as my favorite quote. I don't have to be who you want me to be, and I don't have to do it the way you want me to do it. Like, I'm gonna be a champ, but not like they say you're gonna be a champ like Joe Louis. I'm gonna be a champ, just not like Joe Louis. I'm gonna be the people's champ, but I'm not gonna do it the way you want me to do it. I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. And so we're too black for some people and not black enough for others. They're just crazy. It's like crazy. Some people won't advertise because it's a little too controversial for them. Yeah. Some people want me to. I need to be writing like go back to Africa type stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's the thing. I mean, you're never gonna be able to satisfy everybody.
No,
there's always going to be a critic.
And I don't try.
Yeah, exactly.
When I realize perception belongs to the other person, I know that from writing songs and writing poetry. Like, I know what I meant, but how you receive it, you own that. I don't own that. Your perception, I don't own your perception.
Right.
I can't control your perception.
That's a fact.
So I don't try no more. So if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. If you ask me why, I'll explain it. But I'm not trying to please. I'm doing what I think is best, and if you don't like it, then don't read it, don't support it, or start your own. You know what I'm saying? But, other people saying, this is how you're supposed to do it. No. And as a writer, I probably, if any of my English teachers are dead, they're rolling over in their graves because I break all laws of journalism at least 10 times a day. Like I know I do. So it's just like, but we get it to the community in a way that hasn't been done before, and that's what we try to do.
And even that's what makes you unique. Like even me, I'm a financial advisor, but I'm not a traditional like financial advisor, right?
That's what made me appeal. That's
exactly.
What
So it's like even, but
I know some financial advisors and they don't
exactly.
Like
even like early on, it was like even because you don't really know how you talk until you start to listen to yourself.
Right.
So like when I started to make videos, and then I never really realized how much of a New York accent that I had.
Yes.
And then I kind of at first I was a little self-conscious because I'm like, I'm a financial advisor, but I have an accent, like, you know, like this isn't really. Right. But then I'm like, well, this is just who I am as a person.
Right.
That doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. That doesn't take away from me.
Right.
And there might be a lot of people that can actually relate to it that may not be able to relate to somebody that talks way different than me.
Right.
Because they know exactly. Because they know
Harvard accent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They know I speak the lingo. Even with the hip hop articles that I do, those are things that I relate to.
Get them bags.
I talked to an author, like, you know, when you're coming up, I used to write for the magazines and I wanted to write a book. And I asked for advice. You know, this dude had like successful books. The first thing he said was the first person in my life that ever told something like this to me. Black people tell you gotta go to college. He said, do not go to school. I said, huh? He said, the first thing they're gonna do if you take journalism or any writing thing in school, they're gonna browbeat your creativity out of you and teach you the formula. And he had actually read some of my articles. He said, no, you continue to write the way you write. And he told me two things: write what you know and write how you talk. I was like, okay. And that's what I do, basically.
You know what? That's what.
You know who it was? It was John Grisham that did all those books.
Oh, yeah?
He write all his stories. He's a lawyer, and he lives in the South. All his books have to do with the law, and they're all based in the South.
So
like, you know what I'm saying? He wrote what he knew.
He never went to school for journalism.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know if he went to school, but
he got a law degree.
He got a law degree. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what it's interesting that you say that.
He was a lawyer.
It's interesting you say that because I think that's one of the things that I respect about the tech industry. I feel like the tech industry is a lot more advanced than everything else.
A lot of them people ain't.
They didn't graduate from college. It's like
a couple of them ain't graduated from high school.
You can have an idea. Like every other industry, it's like, what's your credentials? What school did you go to? If you have an idea, if you're brilliant, that shouldn't stop you. Like tech, it doesn't matter.
It's what you know.
Exactly, it's what you know. So it's like, like you said, like I feel like I'm a journalist now. Like I didn't have to go to journalism school. Of course, you have to learn, but you learn as you go.
Right.
I like to write. I always like to write. So now I'm just working on becoming a better writer.
Right.
But
I do that. I work on becoming. And Bob argues with me all the time. You can't do it that way, and I'm like, I'm doing it that way. But we've had heated conversations, and I'm just the way I do it. But you know, somebody told Damon the other day, one of the things he liked, he said, "Yo, the paper is really raw, but I like it that way because it speaks the way, like it has its own thing. Like there's never, I won't say never, but he had never seen anything like that. Like it." You know, not even just the content, but just it's just raw, like it's there, like, and he said that's your thing, like, you know, he was like, and this is a very intelligent individual.
Yeah,
he was like, yo, that's your thing.
Yeah, just embrace it.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna make you different, make you unique. I think it's dope.
Yeah, so, but I just wanted to say, Bob, we started, and we also did the what you're not supposed to, what you never, they tell you can't do. You can't start a business with no money. We actually started. We just did the work. Like it just like literally. If we waited for the money, the paper would have never came out, and the website, the show wouldn't be on. Like we would still be waiting to get the money. Like, like you know what I'm saying. Like we just kind of did it and tried to make the money as we went along, and then put it back in real quick. And put, you know, that means you eating leftovers and stuff, and you ain't going out a lot and stuff. You know, and you don't really have no. If you don't not already in a successful relationship, you're not starting a new relationship because you ain't got the time for it. You know what I'm
probably
saying?
Not.
Yeah, so because this is everyday, you have to own it. This has to be an everyday, all day thing. Like I'm so far in. I said something to somebody the other day. I'm so far in. There's actually no turning back. Like it's like I went out swimming to somewhere and I'm in the middle of the ocean, and like I still can't see the land the way I'm going, and I'm like I'm tired, and for some reason I turned around. I can't even see where I came from. I'm so far out. Like I can't even turn back and go back because I don't know. I can't see it no more.
It's over.
I either got to keep swimming or I'm drowning. Like that's literally where I am with Black Western. So like I'm either going to fail 100% or I'm gonna blow up 100%. There's like no in between. I don't. Everybody can't live like that. Like, and if I was still married or still had young kids that depended for me to have a food on the table and a roof over their head, I couldn't do this. But this is one of the first times I don't have any of that to hold me back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of refreshing a little bit. Scary as hell. Scary as hell.
It's one of the real hallmarks of entrepreneurialism that you have to be willing to take a risk and kind of put it all on the line. I think most people will find when they try to start a business that if that's how you're going to eat, if that's where your money is coming from, that's a full-time venture.
Yeah. And it's not full. It's not 9 to 5.
It's not 9 to 5.
It's 24/7.
24/7. That's why I always tell people, like, my day is when I wake up till I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because there's always something that you think about that you might have to make a phone call. You get an idea.
Because you hit me back sometimes. I'll be like, oh, he's up too?
Yeah.
Like, I'm always up. So like, when I get
I'm a night person. I like to work at night.
Me too. Cause
I get better ideas at nighttime.
I've always been more creative at night. And most of the world is asleep. Like, my whole thing is, I seen this thing when I was like 18 in a magazine. It was some white magazine, and the column was, while you were sleeping. And they were doing all these things while you were sleeping. And that's been like my theme. Like, that's like, I'm thinking about starting a column in the paper. I'm just trying to figure out how to do while you were sleeping. This is what you're doing. So when you send out all them emails, they just do promotions and stuff.
Okay.
For labels and stuff like that. So you want to send out all the emails, and you want to send out all the promotion and everything. So when people get into work next day, that's the first thing they see in their emails. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's already, you know what I'm saying? Like, this. So you working while everybody's sleeping. I'm still working while everybody's sleeping. At some point, I'd like to sleep a little bit more. But
you got sleep. Sleep's important, though. You definitely need your sleep.
I'm learning that because I try to do it without sleep, but I'm getting to a certain age where I require a little more sleep these days.
Nah, you need to sleep. You got to eat good. All that stuff is important for sure.
Yeah. But you always say, even politics or anything, every time you come on, we talk about it. You really can't do much without money. Like, you have to generate some kind of money. You have to. I want to get to the point again where, my money is making money for me. My money is working for me. I'm not working for my money right now. I'm working for my money.
Yeah.
You know
that's the goal. Yeah. That's the goal, to have your money, like you said, have your money. It takes some time to get there, but like all things, disciplined approach. If you're putting money away monthly, if you start to save, if you have a plan, a lot of times people just don't ever have a plan. They don't ever, it's just kind of just out there, just floating. So.
And I want to tell everyone it's not too late to get a plan. I want to share something from my own personal financial story that maybe will inspire people. Many people know I've been a college professor for a long time now, actually. I've been teaching over 20 years. I think it's about 21 years now at the college level. And because I have been an adjunct and a part-time instructor for most of my career, I have generated less money and therefore had not put any money into my pension fund in anticipation of retirement. I am getting older. My mother worries about me. She asks me repeatedly, baby, what's going on with you in retirement? You're 51. You're going to be 10, 15 years. You have to think about retiring. I know friends of mine have asked me as well, as they've solidified their career and are anticipating.
Like Damon Straight.
Like Damon.
He got 28 years in. He got
Mike.
Mike,
Mike, when we talk, it's a conversation like, yo, Brooke, I'm concerned about you, man, because we all getting old. And so this year, I got a temporary 2-year full-time teaching position, which was my come-up. The bags is here now. I'm making better money at Bronx Community. Okay. I'm making enough money where I can actually put money away. And so one of the pieces of advice that I got that I followed from my advisor in our human resources department was to buy back some of the time that I had lost as a civil servant to essentially get that those payments that I had not been making into my retirement system, and so to my retirement benefits. And so I just share this little piece of my personal story with other people who might be listening to say that if you have been in a position, because the economy has not been good to many of us for the past 20, 30 years, but if you are looking forward to retirement, you can certainly investigate IRAs and other kind of personal retirement programs, or you can also, if you're in the civil service or in one of the big entities like teaching, they have programs like TIA, CRAF, and other things. So I want to urge people to consider that, because one of the real challenges that we're all facing is that retirement's over the horizon. We are one of the most poorly prepared generations for retirement. And in addition to that, a good many of us are not going to be living at home with a partner. We won't have a partner when we retire. But a lot of us are going to be single elderly people. Yeah. And it's going to be real tough. So you do yourself a favor to try to get it together. And I say this as someone who has been a bit of a slacker in that regard.
Yeah. And you can't rely on Social Security either.
Right.
That's a political.
Right. And I also want to say, again, February 5th, I turned 53. Oh. In 2014, like when I started Black Westchester, I started over. Like, Biggie said, being broke at 30 give a brother the chills. Being broke at 50 is freezing. So, you know what I'm saying? Freezing. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but, while it's hard, it's never too late to start over or to, so that now I'm working harder, but I'm working those 24 hours, and I have less time to prepare for that time because it's way closer. It's closer than it ever been. So now I got to go extra. I'm investing in myself. Yeah. Prayerfully that's going to pan out.
It's never too late.
Yeah. So, but it's just like who thought in my 20s and my 30s, you can never tell me at this age now that I would be starting now, just starting over again after all the things I did and with the resume and all that. I'm literally starting from scratch again. That's kind of scary. But to walk out on faith or to believe in what you do, and you know what I'm saying, to just do it. It takes a lot to sometimes it takes, there are days, and people don't know because I don't show it, there are days I have to inspire myself to get the hell up out of the bed and do something, because you just, to inspire myself, because I inspire everybody else. Sometimes I got to inspire myself, or, look to your spiritual, whatever that is to you for inspiration. But, some days it's like I gotta, and I hope, I'm sharing.
Nah, it's not easy. A lot of times people don't understand being an entrepreneur is different. It's lonely. You got to realize that most people work a regular job, and you go in, you got coworkers, and it's a certain level of structure. You get to,
you got a check coming every Friday, every 15th, 30th, every once a month, whatever it is. Even when you retire, there's people, they got their pension. They know them last few days of the month, or they got that money coming in every month.
Exactly. It's different. It's different to be an entrepreneur, man, because you have to, you don't know if you're going to get paid, how much money is coming in. And then B,
you got to wait for people to pay you, too.
Exactly. You got to deal with all the nonsense. And then you have to motivate yourself every single day, because you don't have to get up. You can stay in bed all day.
Right.
You won't make any money, but you can stay in bed all day.
Right.
And then you have to actually drive yourself to do something productive every single day. Even if you get 100 no's, you still got to keep going. Right. So,
and I say that because on paper right now, look on the internet, whatever, for those looking for, you got your own paper, you got the radio show, it looks like I am financially, in a much better situation than really exists. You know what I'm saying?
You're the man.
And perception is a lie, too. You know what I'm saying? Perception is a lie. But people don't know, the everyday drive, the really, to do this, yes, I'm partnered with Damon, but Damon, Black Westchester could fall off the face of the earth tomorrow. Damon's great. I am 100% invested every day, all day in this. This is I'm invested. I've invested everything into this. So I say that not to make nobody feel bad for me or nothing like that. I hope it inspires somebody.
And it's important for people to understand what they getting themselves into too. Being an entrepreneur, it's not I'm just going to try this out. It's hard. It's hard work. It's not easy.
And I'm gonna be honest. I've tried a few things that fell flat on my face and come close to just to the point. And you have to fail forward. That John Maxwell book's one of my favorite books, Failing Forward.
Yeah.
And he talked about all the times that he failed and before he was successful. And they say that quote, the Thomas Edison, they said it took 10,000 times before he actually created the light bulb. And they was like, so you failed 10,000 times. He's like, no, I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that inspire me.
Nah, for sure. You gotta just keep pushing. You gotta keep pushing for sure. Yeah. Entrepreneurship is not easy, but it is rewarding. It does have its rewards for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, to help people, when you see people that you're able to help a person that could not help themselves in a certain situation. And sometimes it's just a phone call. Sometimes it's actually, bringing attention to their story, helping them get justice for a certain situation. There's a certain, you can't put a dollar amount on that.
Nah, thank you. Thank you. And I definitely got to say thank you for your advocacy as far as, like you said, bringing awareness to the different things that are happening in the community, because it's important. A lot of times if we don't know what's going on, we need a voice.
Right.
So I think Black Westchester is definitely a voice for the voiceless a lot of times, and that's important for sure.
Well, and talking about organically, I met you through Damon. I met Bob at the Thomas campaign. You know what I'm saying? We ended up meeting Lorraine through Damon knew of her. You know what I'm saying? So for other people we met because of people they knew that are down with us now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like I didn't select this team. Like it kind of organically
Just happened.
Black Westchester is straight organic. Like it's just everybody involved. So even what you bring to the table, and that's why I felt like, especially this time of year, it was important to have these conversations, because we don't have enough of these conversations in the community and what you bring and the information that you have, and we need more of that. So again, bonuses, income tax coming in, and people are getting lump sums of money they don't normally get, and hopefully they'll hear something. Because I was reading the comments to the Nas thing and the comments to the 50 Cent thing, and it was like, people's like, you don't understand how much the things I've been following you and how successful that I've been from following your advice, and you read
it's encouraging. It's encouraging.
You see the
the comments that people posted in response to his article.
Right, you see the fruit. You can if you can look at something and you can see its fruits, you can see the potential, the effect it's having. That's a powerful thing to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to big you up and give you the opportunity to have this conversation. So anything I didn't ask you that is important to get out to people this time of year, like that,
Well, like I said, it's just holiday. Obviously, it's holiday season. Right. Whatever holiday you celebrate, it's a lot of holidays.
Right.
But it's important to, how they say drink responsibly?
Yes.
You have to spend responsibly.
Yes.
It's important to spend responsibly. Do not spend more money than you have. Do not go out of your budget. Do not feel guilty because you cannot buy your kids everything that they have on their Christmas list.
And your parents didn't buy you everything.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to spend responsibly, and you have to keep in mind that the gift is going to be maybe 6 months, a year at the most, and then that's gone. A new version is going to come out. If you invest money, if you save it, that's going to last as long as you want it to last, as long as you keep it in.
Somebody posted, and I don't think it was you, but somebody else posted, and I shared it. Instead of buying your kids a bunch of Xboxes, or, they listed all these things, iPads, iPhone, all this. Buy them one thing less, and buy them a stock. It's going to last longer than all of those
exactly.
things.
I'm a big proponent of balance in life. I'm not an extremist, right? So in anything that I do, I'm not an extremist. I'm not one of those people that go all the way to the left or all the way to the right. So if you celebrate Christmas, or if it's your kid's birthday and they're 5 years old, I wouldn't recommend just getting them a stock and that's it.
Right,
they want a toy. They got to play with a toy.
No. But he said get you one less kid,
one
less toy.
Now that's a good strategy. So if you're going to get them two toys, get them one toy and then get them one savings bond or one stock, one investment. That's balance. And then you explain to them why you're doing that, and then they can watch that investment grow over the course of time.
And while they won't understand now, they will thank you later.
But as a parent, as a parent, your job is not to cave into your child, it's to teach your child. So a lot of times we feel guilty and we try to cave into whatever they want.
Prepare them for the future.
Exactly. If they cry, they're just going to have to experience that.
Yeah, my mother used to have to say, you just be mad till you get glad. Exactly. You're just going to be mad till you get glad again.
Exactly. That's it. You can't, you can't go into debt to try to make your kid happy, because like I said, in 6 months, there's going to be a new version.
When I was married and I had two stepdaughters, they were 8 and 10. They were 9 and 11. Their Christmas list consisted of everything with the letter I. iPhone, iPad, something else. iPod. Your mother and I have none of these things. You understand what I'm saying? There's no way in hell y'all are getting all of this. Me and your mother don't have these things, and we work. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. And they wasn't happy, but I couldn't get I didn't have an iPhone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get them an iPhone.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you, man.
9 and 11. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have one. Like,
yo, my moms and pops was pretty successful.
Yes.
As when I was a kid, they sent 4 of us. They were singers. They sent 4 of us to private school, and our Christmas tree was always loaded up with gifts. But it wasn't until I became a man, an adult, that I realized the amount of financial duress that they put themselves through with all those damn Christmas gifts. Because my mother and father, at some point, they were paying credit card bills out the wazoo, in judgment, defaults, all kind of stuff that really messed up their credit at a time when they made the transition from professional singers to now General Motors.
Right.
And there was a lot of financial turbulence. And my mom, she had to go to nursing school for 2 or 3 years. So money was much tighter. The financial vice sort of began to squeeze on the family, and that's when we realized, like, yo, hold on, all these toys, we look back. I mean, I'm very thankful. I'm beautiful, but I realized, like, yo, in some respects, you didn't have to go all out like that. You didn't have to do all that for us. We would have, it used to be, it was like shit out to the door. I mean, we were very fortunate kids. Literally, you open up the living room door, and there's packages right there on the edge, and it's like, exactly like Rashad said, the Tin Can Alley, played that for 3 or 4 months, and it lost its novelty, and that was it. Went in the garbage.
Well, see, my daughter was a little, I was, things was good in the industry. You know what I'm saying? So she got the little Barbie dream car that she could drive, the Jeep and the Corvette and all that. But as she started getting older and her taste started getting more expensive, Daddy had less money. She couldn't understand that.
But
she could not understand.
But that's the thing. I think that we all. Another reason why it's important that we take a different approach when raising our children, because we all realize as adults that material things will not provide you with fulfillment and satisfaction. There are things besides material goods that we need. We need one another in some respects, and we might be better off trying to find ways to use our money to stabilize and promote healthy relationships, as opposed to spending all this money on material things that in the end
tear up the relationships.
And it's something for all of us to consider. So
right.
I want to couple of shout outs real quick. I didn't call nobody. So Tracy Case, we said her. D Wilson, they both said hello to everybody. AO Joints.
Yes.
Tracy did say once I made the change that it was better, just not echoing no more.
Okay.
Uncle Frank Trulio,
yes,
Lorraine
Uncle
Lopez,
Frank.
Lovely Lorraine Lopez. She's not here today.
She's lovely.
She said she will be back next week, I believe. But Christmas stuff and handling stuff and taking care of stuff. So
Right.
She took the week off. Carmen Gomez, Goldberg, Mark Stuckey, Oscar Davis, Donna Nolan. Donna said hello to everybody. Atif Khalil, he shared the show on all the Facebook pages. He said hello everybody. Glenn P. Butler, Charlie Khalil, and Ken Bright. Those are the ones I can see on Facebook.
Brother Bright.
And everybody tuned in on the InTheMixRadio.com site. I can't see you, so all of y'all tuned in. I forgot what other social media formats we're broadcasting through, because we're broadcasting a few of them. So anybody tuned in through all of that, and everybody who's watching this later. And shout out to Hector Lopez, Lorraine's brother. We went to an event this week for the Westchester Hispanic Law Enforcement Association and the Yonkers Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They had a toy and coat drive at Rancho Grande in Yonkers. And to Hector saying, what's up, Hector? And it was very well, everybody showed up. It was like a who's who and Latino law enforcement. The chief of Yonkers Police, Louis Molina, the first deputy commissioner of Westchester Corrections, the salsa legend Willie Colon, who is actually Westchester sheriff. I think it's the sheriff, a county sheriff or something like that.
Okay.
On top of being, he's still Like that day he had to leave the next day, he was going to El Salvador to do a show. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
like yo, he's still doing.
He really taking his show on the
like,
road.
He's a well known
Right, international. No, he's international renowned. Yeah.
And you know, in the conversation we had when we did the Latino issue Heritage Month last year,
I remember. Mm-hmm.
he was talking about, you know, because he was somewhat of an activist as well,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about like listening to him talk was like listening to all the elders in the black community, because he was like, yo, what they don't tell you, Hispanics and blacks were working hand in hand during that civil rights stuff. They don't tell you that, you know, and we've allowed them to divide us and then divide us within our community as well. And you know what I'm saying? He was breaking all that down. So he was like schooling me. I was like, yo, you know, and he has a wealth of knowledge, but he was there, and everybody, you know, did he perform? Like, you know, just to see him perform, you know, he get paid big time. You know, he always performed supporting, you know, Hector and the Westchester Hispanic law enforcement. Shout out to all of them. I met several of them, and other people. A local judge. It was like a who's who in Latino law enforcement. But I just want to applaud them for the work that they do. I mean, they do a lot of work that people don't even know that they do. So shout out to Hector Lopez,
Absolutely,
and the entire Westchester Hispanic law enforcement and the Yonkers Federation Chamber of Commerce. I believe that's what it is. And I can't remember that Ed. I forgot his name, but I met him too. We had a long conversation. Shout out to Hector Santiago, Mr. Stop and Shake. He's there. Ken Bright, shout out to him. He said, thanks for sharing what is that?
Illogicalness of the overkill of materialism.
Thank you, Bob, and
yes.
Thank you, Ken. So that's see, yo, because I looked, I was like, wait, hold up, let me make sure I pronounce that right. Like, you know. But yes, thank, and I think that's important. I mean, you know, we don't have these conversations. Like, you know, we need to be having these conversations, and you know, our audience doesn't hear this. You can hear this on other groups of people have these conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but we don't have it, and then it's not explained in a way. You know, we all receive information differently, so the way you break down stuff, you know, the common person can understand. They don't have to be heavy into, you know, wealth management or financial, you know, you break it down, because you wrote articles, you come here and talked about pension plans and you know, stuff about retirement and getting ready for your kid to go to school, you know, the different ways of doing that, and you broke down several things, and I thank you for your involvement and being involved in Black Westchester and sharing that information, because it's definitely, I learn something every time I read it. I ain't even gonna lie, like I do.
I appreciate it.
So,
sure.
Rashad, let me ask you a question, man, because I know as a financial consultant, you provide a lot of advice to individuals who are interested in, I guess, you know, proper management of their wealth. Do you accept inquiries from the public who want to receive more advice, and where can people get in touch with you in case of any of our listeners?
Yeah,
do
for sure.
You accept
so my website is BilalGroupLLC.com.
Want to receive more advice,
and then Instagram, I'm real active on Instagram. My name Rashad Bilal on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
So my website actually set up my Facebook.com. I guess it's like a fan page, and then Instagram, I'm real active. Yeah, if you could like that, I'll start to put this week. I'll start putting more content on Facebook. My website actually set up my Facebook.com. I guess it's like a fan page, and then Instagram, I'm real active. Yeah, if you like that, I'll start to put this week. Everything I'm on is my website. The website is BilalLLC.com. So yeah, if you like that, I'll start to put this week. Everything I'm on is my website. The website is BilalLLC.com. So yeah, if you like that, I'll start to put this week.
That's
LLC.com. So yeah, if you like that, I'll start to put this week.
That's it.
Go further. You have to.
So yeah, and then like that,
you can continue.
That's it.
Go further. In that we will have to.
So yeah, and then like that,
you can continue.
That's it.
Go further. In that we will have to. Okay, I think that's it right there. Okay, tell me that's better, Tracy. I will be picking your brain a lot going into 2019, especially this year, because this is going to be an integral year for Black Westchester, where we want to go. I'm hoping to, I'm planning on some financial things coming through. I have a book that I'm working on,
Okay.
and stuff like that, and I want to be able to, make certain moves, one for the company and one for myself.
Right.
So I'm going to be,
So that's to say, Rashad, you can provide entrepreneurs like AJ and people part of his broader circle with specific advice about how to start your own business and
like a large portion of the people that I work with are business owners, small business owners. So I work with individual people that have regular jobs and help them out with retirement planning and life insurance, disability insurance, stuff like that, college savings. And I work with business owners as well, helping them on the financial side. Because that's one of the reasons why a lot of businesses don't succeed is that, people are passionate about their business and what they do, but they don't really understand the business behind it, cash flow and things of that nature. So it doesn't matter if you could be the best chef in the world. If you don't know how to run a business, your restaurant's going to fail.
Right. If you just go in there cooking shit up and put it in a pot.
And that's what I'm trying to prevent the future of Black Westchester. Like, I handle all the intricates of, content and social and all that stuff. Bob's been bringing more on the organizational stuff to me, and I've been having lots of conversations with him on where I vision us going. Now it's what do we need to do to get there now. So we even had a meeting with WCC about working out, trying to maybe do some kind of intern program with them or something.
Okay.
We just in initial talking stages. So
they have their president's Black, right?
Yes,
that is.
She was on the cover of the paper, Belinda Miles. She's the first
That's
African
October?
American. Yeah, October, I think. She's the first African American. I don't know the first female, but the first African American, I think. Period.
President.
The president, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So she made the. I think it's a magazine called City and State. They do a Power 50 for Westchester.
Okay.
Her and Reverend Grace Baptist Church, Richardson.
Okay.
They were the only two African Americans on that list. You know what I'm saying? And she was, I think, she was in the top 10, I believe. So, I want, I put that on there. I mentioned because a lot of the other ones are my friends. Barry McGooey. But we're Black Westchester, so I put there on the cover. Those two, those are the two that made the list from our community. But yeah, it's a matter of it's that time now to take like I said, I turned 53. You know what I mean? I'm not getting any younger. It's time to make some changes on that level too. And so I'm going to be picking your brain. So
all right,
but for those listening in the community, now I'm not expecting you to give your fee. But is it expensive to hire a financial consultant? Is that something I can work into my average budget or something? I'm not asking you to say numbers.
Well, it's two ways that financial advisors usually work with: fee-based advisors and non-fee-based. Mm-hmm. So fee-based advisors have a fee just for sitting down and having a conversation, for giving advice. They kind of work like how lawyers work, like billable hours, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's non-fee-based advisors. So I'm a non-fee-based advisor, so there's never any fee. I don't charge anybody to have a conversation. How I get paid is any product that I place, I get paid through the company that I place the business with. Mm-hmm. So mutual fund, retirement account, life insurance product, any type of investment, the company that I place the business with compensates me. Okay. So that's not a charge over and above what's already built in. Mm-hmm. And I don't charge for a couple different reasons, but the biggest reason why I don't charge is that I feel like every business is a relationship business, but especially financial advising, people have to trust you and build a relationship. So it's kind of hard to build a relationship if you don't know me from anywhere and I'm saying, okay, bring your checkbook and have $200 for me the first time that we speak.
Right.
You don't even know if it's going to be worth it.
I'm going to be honest with you, because if you ask me for $200 first time out the gate, bro, most of it, especially as we don't, modest incomes.
Exactly. So there's no, to answer your question, there's no charge,
I'm sure that's a question that people have that have not asked, and they wonder.
Yeah, people might be intimidated. I don't. Yeah, so
I can't afford him.
Right.
I love to do, but I can't even afford to talk to him.
The process. We have a conversation, and it might be a good time for you to start investing, or it might not be a good time. But there's no, if it's not a good time, then you might know somebody. That's another thing too. You might know somebody where you could refer to me that they might be interested in investing or doing something. So there's no pressure. A lot of times people might feel pressured. Like there's no pressure, it's just a conversation, and then take it from there.
So you do an initial assessment of a person's financial condition, and also figure out what their yearly salary is, I guess, or income even, and then based on that, you'll recommend
exactly
a certain kind of investment strategy
exactly
that's suited for them.
Exactly. It's a 2-meeting process. So the first meeting is me just getting to all your information. It's like going to a doctor. He can't really prescribe anything until they do an extra. Exactly.
All his blood from
exactly.
You.
So exactly. So I find out all the information, and it's just me getting to know you, you getting to know me, and then from there, the next meeting, I can recommend something. But I can't recommend something out the gate if I don't know what's appropriate. So yeah.
Shout to Stan Ridley. Shout to County Legislator Christopher A. Johnson, and shout to Brother Lat George just tuned in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not even. Let me rephrase this. Do you have some sort of confidentiality agreement that you strike with your clients that would prohibit you from disclosing their financial information, and therefore they should be assured that they come see you and they divulge sensitive matters about themselves, you're not going and sharing it with anyone?
Well, I don't have any formal contract. I mean, I could, if somebody requests that, then that's never a problem. But I'm old school. Integrity is everything for me.
Right.
So I trust somebody's word as I would hope that they would trust my word. And I've been in the business for 10 years, so my track record is good. So I'm big on that as far as, obviously when somebody comes to me, it's like working with a psychologist. Like, they of course, your money is very, something that a lot of times people don't want their business out in the streets. So it's not in my best interest to talk about my clients because that's not going to benefit me at all. Right. So that's, confidentiality was built in my practice. That's, part of just, like I said, just the brand of being integrity, having integrity. And so to answer your question, no, I don't have a formal contract. Right. But if somebody would request that, then, it wouldn't be a problem for me to do that.
The reason I ask is I don't know enough about the business to even know what's standard operating procedure or not. But one thing I do know as an African American is black folk. And there's a very high level of distrust in our community, especially when it comes to our sensitive financial information. And my sense is that a lot of times this lack of trust inhibits people from taking the steps that are really necessary to do sound financial planning, so that, hey, we're not jammed up when retirement comes around.
There's some, but I would say that is some people have those problems. But not everybody. I think more so for our community, it's just a lack of education. People don't fully understand things. They're not fully educated on something. And then when you don't fully understand that you're not educated, you kind of are scared by it. Right. So for me, even with the Instagram, I just give out a lot of information because I'm really trying to educate. I feel like the more people are educated, they'll like, oh, this isn't that scary. Like this isn't this is actually pretty interesting. This is cool. So I think for me, that's been my biggest thing as far as when I meet with my client. That's why I stopped calling myself a financial advisor. I was calling myself a financial educator because I realized that I was just educating my clients. Like the first meeting would be an hour just explaining to them, okay, this is what an investment is. This is an insurance policy. This is how it works, da-da-da-da. And I realized that people just didn't know. Even if you're very educated, you might not know about finances because you've never been taught about it. So for me, I think that's really more so than the trust issue. It's just the education issue.
Got you.
That's the real hurdle.
Okay.
Yeah. No doubt. So just for everybody who just tuned in, so we have financial educator.
Financial advisor, financial educator.
Rashad Bilal, he's breaking down, financial literacy. If you just tuned in, I advise you to go back when the show will be posted tonight on the radio, on the website, and start the video over from the beginning later on. And a lot of knowledge has been given out, a lot of advice that is definitely useful in our community. And I advise everybody to share. Not only watch this if you just tuning in now, go back and watch it. But there are people that in your family, friends, and coworkers who might be very in need of some of this advice, feel free to share this, if for no other reason, share this to help educate other people in the family and your friends. That's how we build our community. You know what I'm saying? By educating each other. In like this current issue, it dealt with, supporting black businesses. That's another reason we need to continue to get our money to recycle in our community and not let it go out. We can support each other, and you know what I'm saying? That's something we don't do like other communities.
And then also I wanted to say something. Another hurdle that stops people from investing that is a myth. You don't have to be rich to invest. You don't have to have $100,000 to invest. You can invest $50 a month. That's an investment. $100 a month. That's an investment. So you can start small on a monthly basis. You don't have to feel, a lot of times people feel like, okay, if I'm not super rich or if I don't have a huge lump sum of money set aside, I'm not in a position to have a conversation, or I'm not in a position to start investing, and that's not true. Of course, the more money you invest, the more you have, but small amounts over the course of time add up. So that's one of the great things about 401ks, pension plans. People put in to it every time that they get paid. And then over the course of time, over the course of 20, 30 years, now you have $500,000, $100,000. Like you didn't realize it because you were putting away a small amount of money every time. But this thing called compounding interest, like a snowball effect, where you're putting away a small amount of money on a consecutive basis, and that adds up over the course of time. So, the game is not a 1 inning, it's 9 innings. So you have to, run the marathon. And I just feel like that's something that people really have to understand, that you do not have to be super rich. You do not have to have a tremendous amount of money just sitting in the bank to start. The most important thing is just to start somewhere.
Sometimes it's baby steps.
Exactly. You build a pyramid one brick at a time.
Right. There's a lot that I wanted to, like, I consider this a media empire in the making, but, we couldn't come out and sit on be sitting right next to Time Life and competing, and, certain things I want to do. We got people that be like, oh man, we need to do this. And we don't have the resources to do that, but that's in the plans though. You know what I'm saying? And we, as long as I keep seeing progression, see, that's my thing. Like, as long as I keep seeing progression, like we're not where we were last year. You know what I'm saying? Even my financial situation is better than it was last year and the year before that. But Black Westchester, as far as resources, as far as reach, as far as who's following us and all of that. I mean, we've come a long way in a short period of time. And as long as I keep seeing progression, then I know I'm doing something. You see the same thing over and over. The while you're like, man, well, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm always achieving to do something bigger than what we're doing. So, hopefully 2019, I have some big plans. And when they say shoot for the moon, if you fall short, you're still gonna land on the star. That's like, kind of like my mentality, like a little bit. Yeah. Word up. So, we're coming to the close of the show soon. But is there any last words? Any last jewels that you want to give? And again, give your social media and everything again, so and I advise everybody who's listening that's interested in what they're hearing to follow this gentleman, because I follow him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in addition to him being involved with us, I follow him. That's how I read your stuff. Like I was moved by that. Like,
thank you, I appreciate it. Just once again, Instagram, Rashad Bilal.
Now, just for everybody, spell that, please, just for.
All right. RASHAD BILAL.
Okay.
All together, Rashad Bilal. Rashad's my first name, Bilal's my last name. So Instagram, Rashad Bilal. Facebook, please like my Facebook page, Rashad Bilal. As I said, it doesn't have a content yet. I actually just set it up. So this week I will be starting to put content on my Facebook page. LinkedIn, Rashad Bilal, and my website is the Bilal Group, LLC.com. Mm-hmm. So
you have an LLC. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And then as far as the last bit of advice, as I said, we are at the end of the year. It's important to put together your goals. I think everybody should have goals. Going into the new year, a lot of times people call like New Year resolutions, and after a week, that's out the window.
I'm not going to do this no more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You stop, trying to go to the gym, and then they say like the most gym memberships is the first week in June. Mm-hmm. I mean, the first week in January, and then the most gym cancellations is like the second week in January. So it's like, You gotta be disciplined. You gotta be disciplined. And
Well,
discipline.
you got to put the work in. I mean,
Exactly.
nothing's
It's
gonna
so
happen.
it's so important. Putting in that work.
And that means for everything you do.
Everything.
Yo, I always say, Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. You can believe that. Jordan got cut. He was not good enough to make his high school basketball team. But that hoop that was in his driveway, he worked on his game every day. He worked on his shot every day. He worked on his dribble every day. He's arguably one of the greatest 50 basketball players that ever. I mean, he's probably top 5, top 10 of all time.
Yeah.
But he put in work.
I think,
You
and
know
people,
what I'm saying?
I
And
think
whatever
social media kind of got people confused where you see the end result. Like you
Right.
might see the end result, but you don't see the process.
Right, they'd be like, he blew up overnight. Man, he's
Exactly.
been working that overnight was 22 years.
Exactly. It's a slow grind. They say it takes 10,000 hours to perfect your craft, which is the equivalent to 10 years. So it doesn't happen overnight. Like nothing. You don't just become financially stable overnight. You don't become in the best shape overnight. But the key is to that discipline is hard. Like to do it every single day consistently. That's what really separates the successful people from everybody else, because most people are not going to continue to do it every single day, no matter what it is, whether it's business, working out. They're
I just
gonna
started
fall off.
walking, and yo, I'm gonna tell you, there are days I do not want to do it, and there are days that my back is hurting, my feet. I just do it. Like I sometimes just gotta walk through the pain. Like you just gotta. I have to make myself walk. Now sometimes it's raining or something, so my walk is not as long because it's not. I'm outside walking, but I made up my mind that I was gonna do that, and it's just I want to live. Like I mean,
exactly.
I have to make some health changes, some lifestyle changes. Like I want to live. So you and whatever it is you want to do, you just got to put in the work. You just got to study your craft, whatever that is. You play the flute. You want to, you the drums. You are artist. You scientist. Whatever it is, you got to put in work every day. Like you got to put in some time every day. And if you want, and then we don't look at it. Why want you here? For our financial literacy, we need to put in work constantly as well. That's something that doesn't just come. That's something that we don't put on the back burner. That's something that we're always going to do but never get to. It's like, I'm going to handle that, and it never gets. That time never comes. You just wait, But that's something that is one of the most important elements of everything we do. You know what I'm saying? Along with our health, we need to be healthy. We need to be financially healthy. And a lot of us are not, and that's what hurts the black community. A lot of us are not financially healthy. A lot of us are not physically healthy, and we don't. And for us to have a healthier community, we need to do these things. So, I mean, I hope someone got something out of this. I hope that y'all follow this brother on social media and pick up on the little tips as he puts them up there. And I thank you for just taking your time. Like I said, I've been a rapper. I've done a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of money. I lost a lot of money. I have money again. But one thing I've never learned that I've never been able to get back is time. So right now, as much important as money is to me, time is more important to me than money at this point in my life. So I like to thank people for their time. You know what I'm saying? So taking the time to just show up and come through and educate the people in our audience, man. That's just powerful.
Nah, no problem. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No doubt. No doubt. Any last questions, brother? You want to?
Well, something I wanted to mention.
Okay, briefly. Yeah.
Since you mentioned Nas going in the VC area space, I wanted to mention I saw an article earlier this year about Jay also launching a venture capital fund. And relatedly, a piece of important news involving Jay-Z that really went under the radar was Jay-Z was involved in a landmark ruling that contested the appointment of an arbitration officer in a dispute that he was involved in. And you look it up, you'll find it was landmark because Jay's objection was that the proceeding was unfair because there were only 2 of all the arbitration officers available. They would be appointed by the government somehow. Only 2 of them were persons of color, minorities. And he maintained that put him at a distinct disadvantage. And indeed, the court ruled in his favor, which really was lauded at the time as possibly signaling a major shift in arbitration procedures and therefore financial payouts and stuff like that. So I wanted to mention that. I thought about that last week.
That's what's up.
Once or twice last week.
Now I'm gonna say something, and I know the response. If I can get 500 words on that, but
woo!
Time. And I also say that because Cynthia Turnquest Jones just tuned in, and I'm always telling her.
Okay.
Every time she says something, I'm like, "Yo, can I get 500 words on that?"
Yes,
So she knows. Like Patty, for Halloween, Patty Combs put up. I'm gonna be today for Halloween. I'm being AJ Woodson, editor of Black Westchester. Cynthia said, "Oh, now I got to start dodging your calls too for deadline." So I thought that was cute. So yeah, thank you for everybody who's tuned in. We're working on the January issue now. Thank you everybody who supported the December issue. Working on the January issue, and then February is Black History Month, which is another reason why I wanted to put that small black business up. I think that we don't need to just support them during the holidays in Black History Month. We need to support these businesses all year round.
Year round, for sure.
That's how we eat. All of us being a small black business myself. 20% discount this week, especially to all I want to just give back a little. For all those people who have held us down, all those advertisers, 20% off. Got to advertise by Friday, but for the January issue, and discounts for multi-month, 3, 6, 12-month advertising. Basically, people keep asking what it break down to. 6 months, you pay 5, you get 1 free. 12 months, you pay for 10 months, and you get 2 months free. That's basically what it boils down to. It's worthwhile. But thank you for all the people that support us and that has gotten us this far. We couldn't have done it without you. We can't do it. We can't continue to do it without you. I'm still looking for people to sell advertising. That's one of the areas where we need the most help. We have lots of space for advertising. We're leaving a lot of money on the table because we don't have people to go out and sell. And I actually can't do this and all those other things and that at the same time. It just can't happen. So, we need help. So anybody interested, stay-at-home mom, college student, somebody just wants the extra change, it's 20%, whatever you bring in, holla at us. Advertise with bw@gmail.com. I'll give you all the stuff you need, all the information. But you want to advertise this Friday, this Friday, for all, and I was extending this to just our supporters and our advertisers. Advertise this for everybody. Everybody's 20% off this week for the holidays. It's make it a little more affordable around the holidays, because this is where we stretch the most. So thank you for all of y'all who support us. Thank you for all those small businesses, all the businesses that were in the December issue. I hope that I hope that people take the time to go and try these businesses. I learned about a lot of new businesses by doing that. I reached out to all of y'all, and y'all told me about businesses like 19 Court. Like 15 people told me about that spot. I reached out to them. They thanked me, and I told them, I said, "Yo,
well, that's the joint up in
White Plains."
I said, "I'm hearing great things. I'm hearing great things about y'all." They was like, "Yo, stop through for brunch. I will be taking you up on that." So, just so
when we going up there tomorrow, AJ, me and you.
And everybody who appreciate it, but there's a lot of small businesses, a lot of different variety. I didn't want to just do hair salons and soul food spots. That's why we covered like your business and insurance and African American attorneys and just accountants. Found some accountants and other industries that like I said, I didn't even know half of these people. Cynthia said the small business history edition was the joint. 19 Court is yummy. And she said the money brains is in the house. My favorite guy.
You know what? All these Cynthia, I've been on the show a gazillion times and ain't never seen you said, "Hey, Dr. Bob is on." My favorite guy. I'm a little envious right now. I'm gonna tell you.
Hey, Cynthia, what's going on? How you doing?
Yeah. And thank you, Cynthia. Again, she's somebody. When time she brings something up, I'll be like, "Can I get 500 words on that?" So and I'm calling. I'll be like, "Okay, I need that Friday." This is like Wednesday. So it's yo. But I appreciate her contribution and everybody else. Again, Lorraine Lopez will be back next week. Damon will call in next week. I guess he didn't get to it. I didn't see him pop up today. We've been doing the Skype thing Damon's been doing from the house.
He's been out of commission for a little bit.
You lost your phone, Bob?
I'm going to assume that Cynthia doesn't have my phone in her hand because it seems to me. So that must be a.
Because I was like, wait, you lost your phone? I just talked to you earlier.
Uh-huh.
I got a couple of articles before I leave the country.
Okay, wonderful.
Friday. Need everything by Friday. Word, but thanks to everybody that's holding us down. You could be doing anything, but you decided to ride with us, and we greatly appreciate. This is Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show. We're on every Sunday, 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com, and that's mixed with 2 X's. We're giving you that real talk for the community since 2014. I hope to be doing it a lot longer. Also, we do accept sponsorship and advertisement for the radio show. If you want to advertise, a little 30-second, 15-second, spot, inquire. Because I think I put that out, but I haven't said that in like 2 years. We've had a few, but I haven't been putting that out there. It's my fault. Mm-hmm. So we do have sponsors for the radio show. If you want to sponsor the show, definitely inquire within, and serious inquiries only. Yes, please, if you want to advertise, holla at me this week. This is your week to do it. Give you the 20% discount, save you a few dollars. We appreciate all of you. Thank all of you in advance. Until next week, I think that's it. I don't know who we got on next week. I guess Damon will be here, and Bob will be here, and Lorraine will be here, and I'll be here. Until next week, peace. I'm out.
Peace.
A little slow on the transition.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it, and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.